Thank you all for being here. To all the friends, family, loved ones, colleagues, current, and past graduates, I want to welcome you to the 15th graduation of this 10-year anniversary of VISIONAIRE. Your presence is invaluable, and we are so very happy you are here to share the culmination of your friends and loved ones' hard work. My name is Renoir Cerise, and together with Noriko Okawa, founded VISIONAIRE in 2014 with the intention of teaching all that we knew about taking impactful images in Second Life. Since that first class in 2014, we have graduated well over 100 students. We have been so lucky to have Consuela Blanche help keep us on track. And later, we were joined by her partner, Tour Blanche, who both teaches and explains the more technical aspects of the viewer and photography. Without this team, VISIONAIRE would not be here 10 years later. So I want to give a heartfelt thank you to these individuals who have been by my side for so long. I also want to thank the previous graduates who return and lend a hand of support to those just starting their journey with us, sharing their knowledge and experience along the way. Thank you all for really being so very supportive. And to our newest graduates, I am truly thrilled to be here today to see all of you graduate and put on such a beautiful exhibit. You have endured 9 weeks of lessons, with each lesson lasting 3 hours. And each week you presented your homework and subjected yourself to critiques. I think anybody here that hears that might feel daunted and maybe a bit nervous for you at the prospect of all of it. And they would be right. It's not easy to put your work up for scrutiny every week or to keep track of all the information we throw at you. But I think all of you would say that the weeks flew by faster than we could have ever imagined at the beginning, and that the critiques, while sounding scary, gave you tools and allowed you to see things critically. In the end, you were ever only compared against yourself, how far you came from where you started. You dedicated countless hours to refining your craft, embracing both the technical and artistic sides of photography. At times it was tough, but you stuck with it, you persevered, and you succeeded. You have learned more than just the mechanics of your viewer settings or the principles of composition. You have also learned about your own creative processes. Each of you so thoughtfully showed a unique perspective through your lens. You showed us how you see the world and were able to translate that vision into powerful, compelling images that speak your truth. There were a couple of homeworks that proved uniquely challenging. For some, it was the F word homework. For others, it was portraits. For others, it was lighting. But there was one homework that only a couple of you were able to rise to the challenge and nail perfectly. You stunned us and you blew our minds. And you made us laugh, because the homework was to create a truly bad photo with no compositional elements at all. The rest of your peers formed the 75% Club, a club for those who could not achieve this task at 100% accuracy. However, I suspect that those that did achieve the success did it quite by accident. So they would probably be in the 75% club if it wasn't for just sheer luck. Clearly, all of you have an innate sense of what makes a great image. So now I would like to invite all of you to join me as I take you around the exhibit and discuss the wonderful work that you see here today. The theme of this year's graduation, as chosen by the current graduates, was seasons. So let's start in the section of spring, and we'll start with TJ's images, and we'll work our way around clockwise. And what a sweet way to begin our journey through this theme. When I saw TJ's exhibit for the first time, my eyes widened and my jaw dropped a little. I'd obviously seen his work during the whole class semester because he presented it each week, but when I saw it all together here, it had such a huge impact on me. Who, upon looking at his work, doesn't feel a sense of sereneness, being grounded, maybe a tinge of longing and hope all at the same time? And TJ achieves this through his composition of a singular figure or a quiet moment, and through his lighting, which is very joyful. We don't get a chance to feel tense. We just feel comforted, maybe even embraced. This is a testament to TJ having such a good grasp of his style, and in looking at it, we feel an intimacy with him, as if we know him or understand something about him. This is storytelling at its subtle finest. Very, very impressive and cohesive work, TJ. Next, we have Ree. This was not Ree's first rodeo through VISIONAIRE, but it was her first completed one. The determination on this woman is unbelievable. If there was a stumbling block in her way, she went at it with full force. She was not going to go around, she was going to go through. And additionally, she availed of all her resources, her peers, myself, her friends, everyone. Every single image that you see here, and I know because I was a witness to at least half of them, has been reshot a few times, if not more, until she got it just right. There were times, I have to admit, I was afraid that she was going to feel discouraged because I kept suggesting little changes. But no, not Ree. She took on any suggestion like she had just been given a new weapon in her arsenal. I want you to please take particular note of the images showing depth of field. Note the well-chosen lighting and the lovely composition of the couples and buildings. She is killing it and has promised to return for every next semester of VISIONAIRE, making her one of our forever students. Ree, you did a great job here. And I am so happy that I'll be seeing more of you. We can move on to Adonis. Adonis has got to be one of the busiest people I have ever met, Second Life or real life. A tornado of activity, which makes this exhibit so much more of an invitation to linger than might be expected. To begin with, the small sizes of the images is very relevant. It's as if he gives us a glimpse, but we need to do more work if we really want to see Adonis. What is above is small, but there's a huge amount of depth if we dig below to see the mirror images. I find this very, very intriguing, and we don't get to see him unless we work at it. And what we see isn't what any casual onlooker would see. They would see that whirlwind, but here we get to see a landscape photographer who is inviting us to go deeper with him. Take particular note of the light. It was chosen very, very purposefully, and what is also very important is the clouds. They're not there by accident, but they're an integral part of the image, the hint of the energy that envelops an idyllic scene. I am also happy to see that portrait. This was one of Adonis's learning goals, and it is a gorgeous self-portrait. Adonis, really well done. Thank you for this exhibit. We can move on to see Thunder in Sippo's exhibit. When I saw Thunder's exhibit, I nearly squealed in delight. Doors to the seasons of life? That is so clever. But even more cleverness awaits you, and you are required to step inside to see it. Or, because there's so many of us, we just cam inside for now, but come back another day and go inside. Step inside. This here is dedication to her craft. To go to all these varied places and find a spot to capture, and to capture it with the intent to show you its uniqueness. How many of these doors do you wish you could go through? This feeling you have is made possible by Thunder, who presents us with unique lighting and composition for each of the doors. Bright and colorful, sepia-toned and calm, dark and frigid cold, or rainy and distant. The cohesiveness is superb. I am particularly captured by several images, but one that I want you to note is the blue house with the umbrellas outside. She could have taken a photo of just the door, but the choice to include the umbrella stand is critical. This image would not be the same if she cropped that out, but she fully understood that they were needed right there where they were, as well as the transom above the door. She really gets composition in all of these images. So when you look at these, look at it specifically for composition. Well done, Thunder. Let's move on to the next exhibit, which is Aurora's. Aurora came to us with much talent and skill right from the outset, and I suspect the greatest challenge posed to her in class may have been that she could only present raw images without any post-processing. Aurora, correct me if I'm wrong. She didn't need that restriction, though. That restriction is only given in case a student doesn't understand the role of light and color in an image. But Aurora gets both of them without question. We see them here, presented without any shyness or holding back. She wields light and color like they were forces of nature that she was controlling. But in all that, there's the ever-present desire to tell us a story. Do characters look at the viewer when it matters to the story? They don't when that is irrelevant. We see them come close, we see them far away. The colors are cheerful or are dark. But all these choices are in the service of the story the image is telling. I sat here wanting to speak about one of these images individually, to point something out, but I can't, because it would be like dissecting something that needs to stay whole. The entire exhibit is the one story, and the parts make sense as a whole. Additionally, Aurora is a wordsmith, so please take the time to pick up each of the note cards combined together with each image. Aurora, great work and great storytelling. Moving on, we see Relevant Beauties exhibit. Relevant, you are a stealthy landscape photographer, aren't you? I am so impressed with these images. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I think you were holding back in class. Like, who are you? These images are so beautifully crafted. The placement of the objects in each scene is spot on, as are the dimensions of your photo when considering the scene. Landscape photography is so freaking you. You make me want to visit each of these places with the way that you're capturing them. I want to linger there. How absolutely important are those two dark trees in the image with the truck? And to the right of that, the tuft of grass in front of that heron. The placement of the train on those tracks. And that frozen pond with the mountains dipping in at the middle with the tree rising between them. What a fantastic angle for that scene. These images make real the beauty of peace, of being unfettered, of being unencumbered. Relevant. This is shockingly good. I am really impressed. It's a beautiful exhibit. Well done. Next, we have the exhibit of Caeleigh. I am all about a person who is true to who they are, and Caeleigh is unabashedly so. Don't ever change Caeleigh. I think the first thing we are faced with when we look at her exhibit is its darkness, and I appreciate that immensely. She doesn't need to be syrupy sweet for us or anything that isn't true to her. Even the little ballerina, who takes my breath away with her little pose and expression, still casts a dark shadow behind her. She's not of that shadow like the marionette is, but something of it touches the little ballerina. With this fearlessness in her images, they are able to help us perhaps carry our own sadness, our troubles as well, because in the end, we all have them. But we also have times of being enveloped by love, which you can also sense in these images. Through her use of light and shadow and the images presented here, we can understand that life is a mix of all these things, and that we can be in this life with all its seasons. This is an incredibly lovely exhibit, Caeleigh, which so delicately reminds us of the complexities of being human and living a life. Absolutely lovely. A beautiful lesson for everyone. Last but not least, we have Nene's exhibit. She shows us also how image making, taking the time to be with ourselves and being creative, have great value. We begin her exhibit in 2024. By her storytelling, we know that the year didn't go amazingly well. But, based on the next images, is she really going to cry over spilt milk? Sure, maybe for a little while, but this is a resilient woman, and that spilt milk is going to be replaced by a juicy glass of wine in what we expect to be an equally juicy 2025. I love how she incorporates color in the trajectory of this story. We don't start off bright and cheerful, but we sure are determined to end that way, or at least begin the next season that way. What a great choice to have color be part of the story. What I also love about Nene's presentation of the story is how in the first images we see something blocking our protagonist, something in front of her, or a shadow in front of her. But as we move through the story, she is less and less encumbered until at the very end, she is in front. Nene, your story and images really carry us through your year. It is a beautiful rendition with images that have depth and clarity and honesty with the story. really well done. Each of you has not only completed the course, but has demonstrated resilience, commitment, and growth. Whether you continue to pursue photography as a career, a hobby, or simply as a personal means of expression, I hope the lessons you've learned here will stay with you. But even if they don't, know that our growing Visionaire community are here for you, to remind you and to help you exclaim the F word in rage or exhilaration. We started in a student-teacher relationship, but today I am so very happy to also call you colleagues. Congratulations on all you've achieved, and I can't wait to see where your photography takes you next. Congratulations.